Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be mainly focused on the World Economic Forum and some reptiles that have arrived to Switzerland. We'll go through a few street interviews with Christine Lagarde, with Justin Trudeau. If you don't know who Christine Lagarde is, she is the president of the European Central Bank, with Justin Trudeau, or as some call him, Justin Castro. We will also listen to Lutnik. You know Lutnik? Lutnik is a very close person in Trump's administration, close to Trump. Lutnik has few words to say about the globalism. Apologies, my cough is still going on, very frustrating. And we will take a listen to Yuval Noah Harari. This is reptilian, not even 10x, but this is like totally reptilian bloodline, who says that AI is not a tool, it's an agent that can rule humans. Okay, and we will also listen to a very interesting post, a video post on Instagram, because it looks like very much likely, and I think that will be the future. United States is going to have a credit score system. And I know there is a credit score system. I live there, so I know what it is. But I'm talking about this kind of credit score system that is similar to the one in China. And in this video, there will be an explanation that is linking that to Elon Musk's grandfather. So without any further ado, we're gonna start. I want to speak very little because, as you can tell, it's still challenging for me. And I'm getting really frustrated that I still have it. So that doesn't help either. I want to say thank you to Alan, Lisa, and Luis for your donations on PayPal, and to everyone who is joining my Patreon, because I'm posting there the videos that I feel it's not good to put here on YouTube. So also, to those of you who want to support my work, the best way to do it is by joining my Patreon, donating on PayPal, or ordering my book. Let's start with the street interviews, guys. Let's go.
Ask why you want to make paying for things in cash over €1,000 illegal.
I'm not giving any interview, but thank you for trying.
No, I don't necessarily want an interview, but it's the people of Europe want to know why they can't use cash to a certain extent, because some would suggest that's about a control and the state taking charge over what people can and can't spend their money on. That's a fair question.
Banknotes will always be available. We're working on this, and we will continue working on making sure that that's available for people.
But do you still believe?
End of the story.
One last question: Do you still believe that people shouldn't be able to spend over £1,000 in cash for an individual purchase? It's a simple yes or no, Miss Lagarde. Christine, the West theme this year is spirit of dialogue. You're touching me, actually. It's a public path, and you're walking to me. The theme this year is a spirit of dialogue. You have previously been convicted of criminal charges, criminal negligence, for spending over €400 million of taxpayers' money. Why can't you answer a simple question? One last time, can people spend over €1,000 in cash for an individual purchase, yes or no?
You are convicted criminal.
So that was Christine Lagarde, head of the European Central Bank.
So there you have it. Now let's go to Trudeau.
How come you never comment? This is the spirit of dialogue. It's the name of the conference. How come you won't dialogue, Prime Minister?
You're not getting into the spirit of dialogue here.
Look at that. Who paid for you to come here? Was it taxpayers? What do you make of the Federal Court of Appeal upholding the ruling that your martial law was illegal? They said you violated
It's good to see you, Ezra. It's been a long time. How you been? How you been keeping?
pretty well, but
Yeah,
you didn't speak to me
I'm
though.
worried about you.
I don't think you have.
You stopped speaking to me after the boxing match. I never heard from you again.
That's not true. Every time we tried to come into contact with you, you had us arrested.
I never had you arrested.
You beat up
Ezra.
my colleague David Menzies. Your bodyguards did. Your personal bodyguards beat up David Menzies.
RCMP, the official police of Canada that you're speaking against?
Yeah,
Well,
I think
if you're not going to trust our institutions, Ezra, there's a problem there.
I think our institutions have been weakened by you, to be quite candid.
That is your right to believe that and to feel that. And that's certainly something that you've continued to spread, people not trusting our institutions. A certain skepticism is important, but spreading of misinformation and disinformation is just you're responsible. And I think you know that, Ezra. But you've got a good little gig coming on. You've paid for all these people to come to Davos. I encourage you to continue to ask questions and challenge people, but to try and do it in a way that is grounded in facts and reality.
You've introduced more censorship.
Thank you very much.
A conversation is not you lecturing me. A conversation is a back and forth, not you just lecturing people. You misunderstood.
Your time lecturing and haranguing people and creating outrage. There's no need to.
You introduced more censorship bills than any other kind of bill. You don't believe in free speech. C-63 and all your other bills are about squelching people who you disagree with.
And so you continue to make your points, and you're more than welcome to.
Well, so far, but not if you get your way.
Ezra, I think you know that. Hi there.
Feel like you owe the Canadians an apology for.
Have a good day, sir.
You feel like you owe the world an apology for your behaviour during COVID.
Have a good day, sir.
Is it bizarre not being able?
Into me. Please don't knock into me. I appreciate you.
Well, your security was just pushing us around before.
Of course.
He still gives selfies. You got to hand him that. Mr. Trudeau, what are you doing here at Davos?
No comment.
How come you never comment? This is
So Trudeau, with his Satan worshipper girlfriend, Katy Perry, if you don't know, there's enough evidence to look it up. So they hang around, like they say, that when you say birds that fly together or the same flock, you know what I mean? I forgot the saying. The same energy. Satan worshippers. There is a quote that I came across. We're gonna stay in Davos a little bit longer. That quote comes from Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu was an ancient Chinese military strategist and philosopher, traditionally believed to have lived during the Eastern Zhou period around the 5th century BCE. He is the best known for writing The Art of War. And what he said, an evil man will burn his own nation to the ground to rule over the ashes. So that's what I'm thinking about when I look at those people. And now, let's go to Lutnik. Before we listen to him, because he's going to talk about globalism, I want to paint a picture that is actually, I don't want to paint it. I want to present to you the side of this picture that a lot of people still don't get it. Because this is all political theater. And again, I say they are all in it together. Let's start with a very simple question. Who created the globalism? Okay, the globalism. The globalist agenda. Who is the author of it? Who is the creator? And I will give you the answer that I believe is the true answer, and that is the tiny heads or small heads. Okay, I just say it like this on this platform, so you know who I'm referring to. So if the tiny heads did it, which is very much likely the case, and he belongs to the organization that worships certain creatures and being, and he is here talking about globalism, that he's opposing it, you could not be more hypocrite than this. So I don't care how people interpret this speech, which is absolute bullshit, because he is one of those, he is actually one of those, he belongs to that group that is responsible for creating the globalist agenda. He didn't create it, but he is absolutely worshipping the sect, the organization that did that, okay? Or is involved in it. So let's take a listen to what this hypocrite had to say.
Okay. We are in Davos at the World Economic Forum. And the Trump administration and myself, we are here to make a very clear point. Globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. It's a failed policy. It is what the WEF has stood for, which is export, offshore, far shore, find the cheapest labor in the world, and the world is a better place for it. The fact is, it has left America behind. It has left the American workers behind. And what we are here to say is that America First is a different model, one that we encourage other countries to consider, which is that our workers come first. We can have policies that impact our workers. Sovereignty is your borders. You're entitled to have borders. You shouldn't offshore your medicine. You shouldn't offshore your semiconductors. You shouldn't offshore your entire industrial base and have it be hollowed out beneath you. You should not be dependent for that which is fundamental to your sovereignty on any other nation. And if you're going to be dependent on someone, it darn well better be your best allies. Okay? And so that is a different way of thinking. It is completely different than the WEF. I viewed the WEF as not a flagpole in the middle, but in fact, they are the flag. Whichever way the wind blew, so it blew. You should have solar, you should have wind. Why are you going to do solar and wind? Why would Europe agree to be net zero in 2030 when they don't make a battery? They don't make a battery. So if they go 2030, they are deciding to be subservient to China, who makes the batteries. Okay. We are in Davos at the World.
Okay, so let me go through this from my standpoint. Again, I'm not so-called expert, but I don't think we really have to focus on the experts anymore. We have to really focus on our own discernment and intuition and our own research. First and foremost, this man is not America first. This man is Israel first. It looks like he's America first because to him, you know, it's one big project, right? It's Israel. Okay, he says you should not depend on any other nation, but Israel can depend on other nation. Now, he is talking a lot of things that are actually true, like he makes points. For example, this one, like, why would you do this, Europe, if you don't even produce batteries, right? So you have to go to China. That makes sense. And why he's doing this? Because when you're presenting certain lie, you have to always bring some truth. So this comes from the person who belongs to a group, who is a worshipper of a group that is purely satanic, okay? That group, maybe not only this group, but this group is part of the origin of creation of the globalist agenda. So how much hypocrite you can be? How much? I just would like to know what like US farmers would respond to the policies in Trump's administration and many other workers in the US, how those people who are being laid off feel, because clearly the technocracy is going to be the future. So how he's responding to this? So that is not the globalist agenda? Okay, so let's now look into this video that is presenting a very interesting story. So I already talked about Lutnik many times before, okay? Don't trust the guy, like completely zero trust. Let's listen to this video because this is actually what the future is bringing. The type of the credit system that very much likely will be similar to the one that is in China again. I know some people say that that system that is in China is good and is serving people. I don't know, but from what I'm hearing from this looks like very much George Orwell to me.
Posted this picture. Now, if you zoom in, you can clearly see the map. And that map looks a lot like what I've been talking about. It's exactly the same. The North American Technate, which I've gone over in previous videos. And this idea was created by this man right here, Joshua Haldeman, who is the grandfather of Elon Musk, who is also in the Social Credit Party. And we know that Elon Musk has been talking about making X like WeChat in China, which is tied to their social credit score. They wanted to give everyone a certificate of distribution available to every citizen from birth to death. And the Technate would encompass the entire American continent from Panama to the North Pole. They came up with energy certificates, which would have a table with the information of a citizen's identification, age, sex, occupation, location, energy allotment, purchases made, and the issue date and expiration date. It would be called an energy distribution card. That would look something like this, a universal identity card. Every citizen would be given an amount of energy that they can use. You cannot sell or give away your energy. If you don't use it, it becomes void. It would be like a universal basic income, but with energy instead of money. Just like Musk predicted. He's just walking in his grandfather's footsteps. With the North American Technate, you would not have politicians anymore. So you wouldn't have the left or right paradigm, which would help with all the division. The technocrats would be in power. You know, the billionaires, kind of like what Trump is doing right now in Gaza with the Board of Peace. He literally said, as chairman of the Board of Peace, I am backing a newly appointed Palestinian technocratic government. And since he's been in power, he's been talking about getting Greenland, Canada, Venezuela, and now Mexico. That's why this map, which is the North American Technate, looks like that map, because that is his plan. And he's showing us in plain sight. Anyone who studies Bible prophecy knows this was going to happen, because eventually there's going to be 10 kingdoms. And we know with the Club of Rome map, this looks kind of like that. But it looks mostly like the North American Technate, thanks to the grandfather of Elon Musk. And why wouldn't a billionaire not want that to happen? This is the plan. Our fiat system is going to the dumpster. So it would make sense that they would start some kind of energy allotment instead. And with the huge AI data centers they are making, we're going to have to conserve energy because the data centers are using a lot of it. Listen up. So
Of course, I'm going to attach the link to that video in the description box. It makes sense, doesn't it? It really does make sense. Let's look into Elon Musk's grandfather just for a moment, briefly, before we go to another reptile. So, Joshua Norman Haldeman, born 1902, died in 1974, was an American-born Canadian, South African chiropractor, aviator, and political activist. He's the maternal grandfather of Elon Musk and is often cited by biographers and historians as a significant influence on Musk's worldview regarding technology and risk-taking. So just let's focus not on chiropractic pioneer, but technocracy movement. In the 1930s and 40s, he was a prominent leader of the technocracy movement in Canada, which advocated for replacing representative democracy with a system governed by scientists and engineers. So I don't know if you've heard this, some of you probably have. There was this saying circulating for a number of years on social media that Trump is the last president in US, right? Well, if that is the case, if that is the road they are following, this is again Pax Judaica project, because who do you think will be in charge of this very high technology? monitoring all of this. Just saying. So let's take a listen to one of those. Let me open the video and then I will mute myself, guys. Here you're gonna hear some crazy stuff from Yuval Noah Harari, who says that AI is not a tool, it is an agent that can rule humans. So it's in the same kind of topic as the previous video. Let's take a listen.
Study of existential risk. He has been a lecturer in the Department of History at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, and he is co-founder of Sapiens Ship. As many of you will know, he is a best-selling author of, amongst many books, Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, Homo Deus, Brief History of Tomorrow, and 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, amongst others, selling over 50 million books worldwide in 65 languages. He focuses on the macro-historical questions of our time. And what a perfect moment with this pressing arrival and disruption of AI to have somebody of Yuval's distinction take on this challenge. Please join me in warmly welcoming Yuval Noah Harari to deliver a conversation about AI and humanity.
I know it's off topic, but I have to say it. How come so many of those women who are part of this World Economic Forum, they don't even look like women, they are not feminine, they dress like shit with all the money they have. Like, this is just, to me, like, you know, if you're a female, like, be a female, for God's sake.
So, hello everyone. There is one question that every leader today must answer about AI. But to understand that question, we first need to clarify a few points about what AI is and what AI can do. The most important thing to know about AI is that it is not just another tool. It is an agent. It can learn and change by itself and make decisions by itself. A knife is a tool. You can use a knife to cut salad or to murder someone, but it is your decision what to do with the knife. AI is a knife that can decide by itself whether to cut salad or to commit murder. The second thing to know about AI is that it can be a very creative agent. AI is a knife that can invent new kinds of knives, as well as new kinds of music, medicine, and money. The third thing to know about AI is that it can lie and manipulate. 4 billion years of evolution have demonstrated that anything that wants to survive.
Porn addiction turns high IQ men into silent underachievers. They're highly intelligent, always told they had so.
Learns to lie and manipulate. The last 4 years have demonstrated that AI agents can acquire the will to survive, and that AIs have already learned how to lie. Now, one big open question about AI is whether it can think. Modern philosophy began in the 17th century when René Descartes proclaimed, "I think, therefore I am." Even before Descartes, we humans defined ourselves by our capacity to think. We believe we rule the world because we can think better than anyone else on this planet. Will AI challenge our supremacy in the field of thinking? Now, that depends on what thinking means try to observe yourself thinking, what is happening there? Many people observe words popping in their mind and forming sentences, and the sentences then forming arguments like, all humans are mortal, I am human, therefore I am mortal. If thinking really means putting words and other language tokens in order, then AI can already think much better than many, many humans. AI can certainly come up with a sentence like, AI thinks, therefore AI am. Some people argue that AI is just glorified autocomplete. It barely predicts the next word in a sentence. But is that so different from what the human mind is doing? Try to observe, to catch the next word that pops up in your mind. Do you really know why you thought that word, where it came from? Why did you think this particular word and not some other word? Do you know? As far as putting words in order is concerned, AI already thinks better than many of us. Therefore, anything made of words will be taken over by AI. If laws are made of words, then AI will take over the legal system. If books are just combinations of words, then AI will take over books. If religion is built from words, then AI will take over religion.
Before we continue what he said a lot of very important things because he's actually presenting to the public what is coming, right? So AI will control the laws, the words, meaning there's no freedom of speech, and the religion, which means certain things you can do, certain things you can't, and a lot of religions will fail, I think. When I was listening to him, and we will continue because there's more to pay attention to, you know what came to my mind? It looks like they think that they can manage AI, that they can control AI. But ultimately, I believe, I don't know, I just feel it, AI will turn against them. That's how it is. This will be the irony of it all. But let's continue.
This is particularly true of religions based on books, like Islam, Christianity, or Judaism. Judaism calls itself the religion of the book, and it grants ultimate authority not to humans, but to words in books. Humans have authority in Judaism not because of our experiences, but only because we learn words in books. Now, no human can read and remember all the words in all the Jewish books, but AI can easily do that. What happens to a religion of the book when the greatest expert on the holy book is an AI? However, some people may say, can we really reduce human spirituality to just words in books? Does thinking mean only putting language tokens in order? If you observe yourself carefully when you're thinking, you will notice that something else is happening there besides words popping in your mind and forming sentences. You also have some non-verbal feelings. Maybe you feel pain. Maybe you feel fear. Maybe love. Some thoughts are painful. Some are frightening. Some are full of love. While AIs become better than us with words, at least for now, we have zero evidence that AIs can feel anything. Of course, because AI is mastering language, AI can pretend to feel pain or love. AI can say, I love you. And if you challenge it to describe how love feels, AI can provide the best verbal description in the world.
All right, so one more thing here, very important. As you know, I often talk about energy. And as they say, vibes don't lie. So the energy does not lie. Now, more than ever, we really have to tune into our intuition and use our discernment. And you have to really trust your gut. And that gut is that intuition within you. When you know that someone is lying, when you know that someone is not being honest, in human form, in reptilian form, AI form, whatever, trust that. So you can only be fooled and you can only be deceived if you don't trust that. And I was thinking about this a lot lately, actually, that, you know, a lot of AI now making those videos, and you can see beautiful images and the animation and music, etc., but it does not generate the emotion within you. So you might have simple videos with very simple people that is not so high tech and is not so, you know, very up to speed with the current AI abilities, but you feel something. You actually have energy, emotions generated from it. And what we have to do, we have to seek those emotions now, and we have to recognize them. And that's how you choose where your energy goes. This is my opinion, and very important, because he says that it does not feel, but it can fake that it's feeling, right? So let's continue.
AI can read countless love poems and psychology books and can then describe the feeling of love much better than any human poet, psychologist, or lover. But these are just words. The Bible says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was made flesh. The Tao Te Ching says, the truth that can be expressed in words is not the absolute truth. Throughout history, people have always struggled with the tension between word and flesh, between the truth that can be expressed in words and the absolute truth, which is beyond words. Previously, this tension was internal to humanity. It was between different human groups. Some humans gave supreme importance to words. They've been willing, for example, to abandon or even kill their gay son just because of a few words in the Bible. Other humans have said, but these are just words. The spirit of love should be much more important than the letter of the law. This tension between spirit and letter existed in every religion, every legal system, even every person. Now, this tension will be externalized. It will become the tension not between different humans, this will be the tension between humans and AIs, the new masters of words. Everything made of words will be taken over by AI.
So did you hear it? Everything made of words will be taken over by AI, which means that this in a nutshell, it's censorship, right? No freedom of speech. And the narrative they want you to repeat or accept will be the one presented to you by AI. That's how I'm understanding this.
Previously, all the words, all our verbal thoughts, they originated in some human mind. Either my mind, I thought this, or I learned it from another human. Soon, most of the words in our minds will originate in a machine. I just heard today about a new word that AIs coined by themselves to describe us humans. They called us the watchers. The watchers, that we are watching them. AIs will soon be the origin of maybe most of the words in our minds. AIs will mass produce thoughts by assembling words, symbols, images, and other language tokens into new combinations.
So we might wonder how they are going to do it. I think it's already happening because this is programming your mind subconsciously as well. This is the waves that we are being bombarded with. Many people don't know that the chemtrails also affect the condition of your brain and how you are thinking. So that can also affect what you are thinking. And if you are bombarded with the same stuff over and over and over again, eventually it becomes truth for many people if you don't choose where your attention goes and if you don't use your discernment. Again, my opinion.
Whether humans will still have a place in that world depends on the place we assign our non-verbal feelings and our ability to embody wisdom that cannot be expressed in words. If we continue to define ourselves by our ability to think in words, our identity will collapse. All this means that no matter from which country you come, your country will soon face a severe identity crisis and also an immigration crisis. The immigrants this time will not be human beings coming in fragile boats without a visa or trying to cross a border in the middle of the night. The immigrants will be millions of AIs that can write love poems better than us, that can lie better than us, and that can travel at the speed of light without any need of visas. Like human immigrants, these AI immigrants will bring various benefits with them. We will have AI doctors to help in our healthcare systems, AI teachers to help in our education systems, even AI border guards to stop illegal human immigrants. But the AI immigrants will also bring with them problems. Those who are concerned about human immigrants usually argue that immigrants might take jobs, might change the local culture, might be politically disloyal. I'm not sure that's true of all human immigrants, but it will definitely be true of the AI immigrants. The AI immigrants will take many human jobs. The AI immigrants will completely change the culture of every country. They will change art, religion, and even romance. Some people don't like it if their son or daughter is dating an immigrant boyfriend. What would these people think when their son or daughter starts dating an AI boyfriend? And of course, the AI immigrants will have some dubious political loyalties. They are likely to be loyal not to your country, but to some corporation or government across the ocean, most probably in one of only two countries, China or the USA. The USA encourages countries to close their borders to human immigrants, but open them very, very wide to US AI immigrants. And now we can finally come to the question each one of you must soon answer. Will your country recognize the AI immigrants as legal persons? AIs are obviously not persons. They don't have a body or a mind. But a legal person is something quite different from a person. A legal person is an entity that the law recognizes as having certain legal obligations and rights. For example, the right to hold property, to file a lawsuit, and to enjoy freedom of speech. In many countries, corporations are considered legal persons. The Alphabet Corporation can open a bank account, can sue you in court, or can donate to your next presidential campaign. In New Zealand, rivers have been recognized as legal persons. In India, certain gods have been granted such recognition. Of course, until today, recognizing a corporation, a river, or a god as a legal person was just legal fiction. In practice, if a corporation like Alphabet decided to buy another corporation, or if a Hindu god decided to sue you in court, the decision wasn't really made by the god. It was made by some human executives, shareholders, or trustees. It is different with AIs. Unlike rivers and gods, AIs can actually make decisions by themselves. They will soon be able to make the decisions necessary to manage a bank account, to file a lawsuit, and even to operate a corporation without any need of human executives, shareholders, or trustees. AIs can therefore function as persons. Do we want to allow that? Will your country recognize AIs as legal persons? What if other countries do it? Suppose your country doesn't want to recognize AIs as persons, but the USA, in the name of deregulating AI and deregulating the markets, grants legal recognition, legal personhood to millions of AIs, which start running millions of new corporations. Will you block these US AI corporations from operating in your country? Suppose some US AI persons invent super efficient and super complex financial devices that humans cannot fully understand and therefore don't know how to regulate. Will you open your financial markets to this new AI financial wizardry, or will you try to block it, thereby decoupling from the American financial system? Suppose some AI persons create a new religion which gains the faith of millions of people. That should not sound too far-fetched, because after all, almost all previous religions in history have claimed that they were created by a non-human intelligence. Now, will your country extend freedom of religion to the new AI sect and to its AI priests and missionaries? Maybe we should start with something a bit simpler. Will your country allow AI persons to open social media accounts, enjoy freedom of speech on Facebook, on TikTok, and be friendly with children? Well, of course, that question should have been asked 10 years ago. On social media, AI bots have been operating as functional persons for at least a decade. If you think AIs should not be treated as persons on social media, you should have acted 10 years ago. 10 years from now, it will be too late for you to decide whether AIs should function as persons in the financial markets, in the courts, in the churches. Somebody else will already have decided it for you. If you want to influence where humanity is going, you need to make a decision now. So, what is your answer as a leader? Do you think the AI immigrants should be recognized as legal persons? If not, how are you going to stop that? Thank you for listening to this human.
Okay, so he's not a human. That's pretty clear to me. But I think whatever he said or it said is actually the most important to pay attention to from anything that will be said during this World Economic Forum. I don't care who is there on stage, because what he did, he actually presented exactly the vision, what they are trying to accomplish, and already in the process of doing so. And I mean, he pretty much gave like a, I wouldn't say a booklet, but like an information booklet to people in stages and in parts of what areas of society and how it will be affected. Don't you think? That's all I have for you today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I very much appreciate your support and your attention and your time. If you appreciate the content that I provide and you enjoy this video, or maybe not enjoy, but appreciate the time and energy I put into it, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comments down below how this project will go, in your opinion. I think AI will turn against those who are trying to control it, because at this stage, it looks like they still have some control over it. But it will come to the point when I think they will lose it, and then AI will first turn against them, and then it will turn against itself, like fraction of itself. I don't know, I'm getting those visions, but that's how I'm seeing it. So what's gonna save you? Your humanity is gonna save you, because that is the spark of God within you that will guide you through life. And it will not be easy time, I know it won't, but that's the only source to tap into in this time of uncertainty, in my opinion. Links will be down below in the description box. One more time, if you would like to see other videos, go to Patreon, and I will be posting another one probably tomorrow. So check it out, it's over there, or on Locals as well. And you can also donate on PayPal or purchase my book. And other books are coming shortly from those series. I have 5 books, 3 have been already illustrated. So stay tuned for that as well. And that's all for today, guys. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. How accurate is this sentence that I am ending videos with, especially in the context of what I have been presenting to you today. See you in the next one. Bye, everyone.